At first, I want to thank you all for joining this live session. So right now we are in Unit 4, Energy and Momentum. So from today, we'll start Unit 4. Before starting Unit 4, I want to encourage all of you to complete Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3 if you have not completed already, so that you can maintain your pace. Okay. So it's already around 2 months that school has started. So please make sure to maintain your pace. We do have only 2 months remaining. So make sure to put your more time and effort and then complete all the assignments in time from your courseware. So from today we'll start Unit 4. And then if you have any question, please feel free to contact me. Okay, I'll be always available for you. So in this Unit 4, energy and momentum, we'll use the concept of energy, work, momentum to analyze complex physical situation, including the situation in which two or more than two bodies interact with each other. And then the lesson we'll complete today's is work and then kinetic and potential energy. These are the lessons we'll complete today. I just want to make sure that you all are hearing me and seeing this screen. So if you are hearing me and seeing this screen, please give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure that you are seeing it. I'll wait for some time. Or you can write in chat box as well. Yes, I'm saying or anything, something like that. Okay. Now, let's go to the next slide. So we'll start from work. So in this lesson, we'll solve the problems that relate to force, work, and displacement. At first, we'll go through the definition of work, and then we'll work on the formula to calculate work, and at the end, we'll work real life situations where we can calculate the value of work. So let's start with what is work and how is work defined in physics. So according to physics, work occurs when force acts on an object and makes it moves in a particular direction. So that means if you are sitting in one place and doing any work, that means using the definition of physics, that's not a work. So you have to move things, or you have to move certain distance, so that only there will be some work done. And in general, there are three components involved in work. They are force, displacement, and direction of displacement. Okay. So remember those things. So there should be certain displacement, and then only there will be work. And then there are three components involved in work. They are force, displacement, and direction of displacement. Oops, sorry. Now let's discuss about how can we calculate the work. So as you can see, let us suppose any person is pulling a heavy object here. You can see on the screen of mass m, or no, we don't need mass here, with certain force F, and the direction using the rope, and then direction of force and the displacement is theta. That is the angle between force and displacement. Then work is calculated as the product of force, displacement, and then cosine of angle between force and displacement. And then if you have a pen and paper, make sure to write that formula in your notebook, okay? So work is force times displacement time the angle between cosine of angle between force and displacement. And then whenever we calculate work, that F cosine theta is, will always resolve this force to the direction of displacement. That means it will become F cosine theta and then we'll multiply with D. D is displacement. That means the direction of force and displacement should be the same. Now after that, we'll work some of the problems related to work. Let's start with this first one. The question is, in which situation is work being done? And then work is force component, I'll say force times displacement times the cosine of angle between force and displacement. That's how we can calculate work. So I'll give you some time to read this problem and then you can answer this question at first and then later I'll answer this question. Let me launch the poll and then I'll encourage everybody to participate in this poll. In which situation is work being done? So you do have 4 different options and then based on your understanding of work, choose one of the options. Okay, thank you for your response. Now let me work through this problem. In which situation is work is being done? No force is applied, so this choice is wrong because there should be some force. The force does not result in displacement, wrong. The force needs to result in displacement. The force and displacement are perpendicular to each other. If they are perpendicular to each other, the angle is 90 degrees and cosine 90 is 0, so work will be 0. So there will be no any work done. Wrong. The force and displacement are in the same direction. So we have to resolve the component of force along the direction of displacement. So the correct choice is the force and displacement are in the same direction. Now let me go to the next question. So at first I'll work through this problem and next problem you will work on your own and answer it. What is the value of work done? So we have to calculate work done. I'll write work done is W. On an object when 50 Newton force, so force is 50 Newton, moves it 15 meters, so displacement is 15 meters in the same direction as the force. So direction of force and then displacement is same. So we know that work done is force times displacement times cosine of the angle between force and displacement. So both force and displacement has same direction. So I have a question for you all. Okay. And then you can unmute and answer that question, or you can write that answer in chat, or you can just annotate on the screen. So if the force and displacement are in the same direction, what is the angle between them? So that is my question. Question is, if the force and displacement are in the same direction, what is the angle between them? So if their direction is same, the angle between them is 0 degree. So that means let's substitute those value. Force is equal to 50. and then displacement is 15, and cosine angle is 0 degree. And cosine of 0 degree is 1, or you can use calculator to calculate that value. 50 times 15 is your 750, times 1 is 1, and then unit of work is joules. The correct choice is C, 750 joules. At first we used the formula, and then angle was 0 degree because the force and displacement has the same direction, and then we substitute the value of force and displacement, and then we calculate that value, that is 750 joules. So I'll pause here for some time. If you have any question, please let me know, and you can ask me that question in chat as well. And these are the questions from your mastery test. Now let's go to the next slide. And then I'll write formula, okay, on the top. So work done is your force times displacement times cosine of angle between force and displacement. At first read this problem, and then take your time, and then calculate work, and then make sure to answer through the poll. Those who will actively participate and answer on this poll will get extra bonus point in your assignment. If for some reason, if you didn't get good score on your assignment, I'll improve your grade on those assignments. Okay, thank you. Now let me work through this problem. So work done is your force times displacement times cosine of angle between force and displacement. So this time force is 70 newtons, and then displacement is 9, and then angle between force and displacement is 0 degree because they do have like force and displacement are in the same direction. Cosine of 0 degree is 1, so it becomes 630. 70 times 9, 630 joules. Cosine 0 is 1. Then if we write in scientific notation, 6.3 times 10 to the power 2 joules. So the correct choice is B, that is 6.3 times 10 to the power 2 joules. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood this concept. And then if you understood this concept, please give me a thumbs up or any other reaction so that I can move on. Okay. Now let's go to the next slide. So I'll work on this problem. So this problem is similar to the previous problem, but this time we do have an angle between force and displacement. The question is, what is the value of work done on an object when 0.1 times 10 to the power 2 Newton force, that is force, moves it 30 meters displacement, and the angle between force and displacement is 25 degrees. That is angle theta. So we do have force, we do have displacement, and then we have angle theta. And then we have to calculate the value of work done. So work done is same formula, force times displacement times cosine of angle between force and displacement. This is force and this is displacement. Angle is 25 degree. It's given. Let's substitute those values, and after that we can use calculator to calculate that value. Force is equal to 0.1 times 10 to the power 2. I'll put in parentheses. And then displacement is 30 and cosine of 25 degree. So to calculate that value, use any online calculator, or if you have physical calculator, you can use that calculator, or use Desmos. Okay, I generally use Desmos. You can use Desmos. And then that value will be equal to, let me check my answer here, 2.7 times 10 to the power. So you will get around 270 joules, and that is equivalent to 2.7 times 10 to the power 2 joules. So the correct choice is A. Okay. Now we have completed this lesson work. Let me briefly review what we did. Okay. So at first we defined work. So work occurs when force acts on an object, and then that object moves in a particular direction. So that was the definition of work. And then we went through the formula to calculate work. Work is force times displacement times cosine of the angle between force and displacement. After that, we solved those 4 different problems, and these are the problems from your mastery test. Now from the work, let's go to kinetic and potential energy. So this is our next lesson. In this lesson, we'll solve the problems involving kinetic and potential energy. At first, we'll define kinetic and potential energy, and then we'll go through the conservation of energy concept. And after that, we'll work on the problems related to kinetic and potential energy. Let's start with potential energy. So potential energy is energy stored in a body that can be used for doing work later. So that means energy stored in a body is called potential energy. You can think like that. And then here are some of the examples of potential energy. An arrow in a bow, a raised stone, charged particle in electrical field. So these are the examples of potential energy. They all have potential energy. Because you can think like that, the arrow in a bow, if we pull that arrow and release it, its potential energy, it has a potential energy, so that the arrow will gain certain kinetic energy when we release it. And similarly, raised stone, charged particle, they have potential energy. And common type of potential energy include mechanical and gravitational. And then in this lesson, we'll generally talk about gravitational potential energy. So that's all about potential energy definition. Now we'll calculate potential energy. We can calculate gravitational potential energy. So here we are talking about gravitational potential energy, okay? So let me put in parentheses, and then I'll underline that one. So we can calculate gravitational potential energy by multiplying mass, M is mass of the object, by the acceleration of gravity G, and then height of the object H. So if we multiply mass, acceleration of gravity, and height, then we can get gravitational potential energy. And in formula, we can write potential energy is your mass times acceleration of gravity times height. And then if you have a notebook, Make sure to write that formula. Potential energy is E is your potential energy, that is mass times acceleration of gravity times height. And then unit for potential energy is joules. Joules. Unit of work and then energy or potential energy is joules, which is same as 1 kilogram. So 1 joule is 1 kilograms meter per second square. And all measures of energy, including potential as well as kinetic energy, they are scalar quantity. So let me write it here. Scalar quantity, that means those quantity will have only magnitude. Only magnitude, they do not have direction. No, I'll write no direction. No direction. Okay. Now let's go to kinetic energy. So all moving objects have kinetic energy. Okay. If an object is moving, it does have kinetic energy. And kinetic energy is determined by mass of an object and its speed. Okay. And these are the two variables that kinetic energy depends on: mass of an object and its speed. And it can be calculated using this formula. Kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity square. Here Ke means kinetic energy, m is the mass, and b is velocity. Mass is in kilograms and b is its velocity in meter per second square. And kinetic energy is also measured in joules. So all energy and work is measured in joules. Let me pause here for some time. If you have any question, please let me know. So now let's talk about the law of conservation of energy. So I think some of you have already heard the concept of law of conservation of energy. So it is stated that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can be changed from one form to another. And the total amount of energy in this universe remains constant. That means we cannot create energy, we cannot create or destroy energy, but we can change energy from one form to another form. So that means total energy of any system is always constant. And then we can think about how we can convert potential energy to kinetic energy, but for the whole system, the total energy of the system is always constant. Now let's work on some of the problems related to kinetic, potential energy, and then law of conservation of energy. Let's start with this problem. Let me read that problem and then I'll make a diagram and then I'll solve this problem. A bulb of mass 0.18 kilograms, that is the mass of the bulb, is released from a height of 45 meters, height h, above the ground level. What is the value of kinetic energy gained by the bulb at the ground level? Let us suppose this is ground and then mass of bulb is here. And then bulb has certain mass 0.18 kilograms, height is 45 meters. This question is a little bit tricky. So at a height of 45 meters, the bulb has only potential energy, right? Only potential energy. Because at that time it's not moving before we drop the bulb. And at the ground, It does not have any height at that point. So that means it only has kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. But total energy of the system is conserved. That means total energy at this point is exactly equal to at this point. So that means kinetic energy at the ground should be equal to the potential energy. That means I'll write the kinetic energy gained is equal to potential energy lost. Potential energy lost. So this potential energy is converted to kinetic energy, think in that way. And then potential energy is mass times acceleration of gravity times height. Let's substitute this value. Mass is 0.18, acceleration of gravity 9.8, and then height is 45 meters. And then we can calculate that value, and then we'll get around 79 joules. So the correct choice is C, that is 79 joules. I know this question is a little bit tricky, so if you have any question, please let me know. You can ask that question in chat as well. And if you understood this question, give me a thumbs up or any other reaction. Now, okay, now let's go to the thank you. Next question. A stone of mass 0.55 kilograms, we do have mass, is released and falls to the ground. Measurements show that the stone has a kinetic energy of 9.8 joules at the point of impact with the ground. What is the stone's velocity when it hits the ground? Velocity is your what? So we can use the formula of kinetic energy to calculate velocity. So we know that kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity square. Let's substitute, and then we know kinetic energy, we know mass, so we can substitute those values and calculate velocity. Kinetic energy is 9.8 joules. 1/2 mass is 0.55, and then velocity square. So think about this equation. How can we solve velocity from here? To solve for velocity, we have to multiply both sides by 2 and then divide by 0.55 and then take square root on both sides. So that means multiply both sides by 2. So this 2 get cancelled. So let's do one at a time. Okay, so it becomes on the left 2 times 9.8. On the right 0.55 times b square. To get rid of 0.55, divide both sides by 0.55 and take square root on both sides to just get b. Since we do have b square, so we have to take square root on both sides just to get b. Cancel square root of b square is b. And then calculate that value on the left hand side using calculator. So that would be around, let me see that value, around 6 meters per second. 6 meters per second. So the correct choice is A for this problem. That is the velocity of the stone when it hits the ground. So we use the formula for kinetic energy, and then kinetic energy and mass are given. So using those information, we have to calculate velocity. I'll pause here for some time. If you have any questions, please let me know. Now, let's go to the next slide. This question is straightforward. Jim has a mass of 15 kilograms and is running on the ground with a velocity of 2.7 meter per second. What is Jim's kinetic energy? So let me write formula for you, and then you can solve that problem, and then I'll give you some time to work on that problem. Kinetic energy is 1/2 mass times velocity square. That is formula to calculate kinetic energy. Use that formula and calculate kinetic uh, kinetic energy of Jim's kinetic energy. Sorry. In polling, let me. I have already launched the poll. Make sure to calculate kinetic energy and then answer through the poll. Okay, I request all of you to work on this problem and please respond through the poll. Let me in poll. Let me work through this problem. So kinetic energy is here 1/2. Let me write it again. F square mass times velocity square. So here 1/2 mass is equal to 15 and velocity is 2.7 meter per second square. After that, use calculator and calculate that value. It would be around 55 joules. 5 joules. So the correct choice is B, 55 joules. So that is the Jim's kinetic energy. Okay, now let's go to the next problem. The question is, a car has a kinetic energy 1.9 times 10 to the power 3 joules. All right. Kinetic energy is equal to 1.9 times 10 to the power 3 joules. And then kinetic energy is also 1/2 mass times velocity square. There's the same thing. 3. I'll just write, let me write joules as well, it's fine. Okay. So that is the given information. Okay. Car has a kinetic energy. I wrote that information here. If the velocity of the car is decreased by half, now velocity of the car is decreased by half, what is its kinetic energy? So velocity becomes this times, initially it has B, now it decreased to by half means B/2. Now we have to calculate new kinetic energy is what? So use those concepts, and to calculate new kinetic energy, use 1/2 mass times that decreased velocity and try to answer this question. We launch poll again, and then I'll give you like around 1 minute to answer this question. Take your time and calculate the new kinetic energy of that car. Okay, thank you very much for the participation. Let me end the poll and then I'll work through this problem. So we have to calculate kinetic energy of the car when its velocity is decreased by half. So let me write that kinetic energy here. Yes, is equal to 1/2 mass as it is, but velocity is b/2 square. Okay, and then 1/2 as it is, mass as it is, velocity b square, it becomes b²/4. But you can see from here 1/2 mass times velocity square is 1.9 times 10 to the power 3. So that value is equal to 1.9 times 10 to the power 3. Let's use that. So it becomes 1.9 times 10 to the power 3 over 4. And then use calculator and calculate that value. That will be around 4.7 times 10 to the power 2 joules. So the correct choice for this problem is B, that is 4.7 times 10 to the power 2 joules. Now, briefly go through the contents that we have covered today, okay? At first, we went through work. Let me go back. Okay, these are the lessons we have completed today. First one is work, and then we defined work, and then the formula to calculate work is force times displacement times cosine of angle between force and displacement. After that, we went through potential and kinetic energy. And then kinetic energy is 1/2 times mass times velocity square. And gravitational potential energy is mass times acceleration of gravity times height. So we have already started unit 4, that is energy and momentum. So if you are already behind, please make sure to put more time and effort to catch up. Okay, we have already completed 50% of the course. So now you should complete unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3 so that you'll be on your pace. Okay, and then if you have any question, please feel free to contact me. So we have only around 1 minute left. If you have any question, please stay here with me. Otherwise, you can leave this live session. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye. So I'll be here. If you have any question, please let me know.